So I arrived at South Adelaide in the late 80s and we'd been starved of success. 1964 was the last premiership that South Adelaide had won and still is, and Pete was a big part of.
A great mark in the pack, Darley is within goal-kicking range. Making no mistake, Darley kicks through the centre and Curly's kids have a 13-point lead.
Pete attended Prince Alfred College, which is a famous sporting school here in South Australia, and went straight to playing league footy at South Adelaide. He came into the football world when ruckmen were pretty much tapping the ball and not doing much else. And then, of course, his physical stature, he was a big man, but he was fairly mobile. And what he was able to do was use his body really well and take a lot of marks around the ground.
Darley in front of Darley, holds a strong mark.
That ruck position, in a lot of ways, was transformed by the way Peter started to play and his ability to impact on games. After debuting as a 16-year-old in 1962, he won the best and fairest in 1963. And then a year later, Neil Curley arrived at the football club after South had finished bottom, and he took him to the premiership. And then, of course, Peter was the best and fairest again that year. So what a phenomenal turnaround. After winning the premiership, and unfortunately South couldn't maintain that high stand, but Peter was the one constant. He won a club record 7 best and fairests, and of course that culminated in 1969 when he was named in the All-Australian side after a carnival here in Adelaide. Pete also captained South Adelaide for 3 years, including 2 years as captain coach. He also captained the state side. State footy was a big part of Peter's career. He played for South Australia 13 times, including twice as captain. So Pete came very close to winning the Magarey medal. As a 20-year-old, he finished second in 64, which was, of course, the premiership year. And then 4 years later, he polled the same amount of votes as AFL Football Hall of Fame legend Barry Robran, but was ineligible because he'd abused an umpire earlier in the year. So I guess when you think about Robran and the great player that he was, Pete was the equal in 1968. I think Peter has been one of the real lovable characters of South Australian footy. He played at a time when the SANFL was probably at its biggest through the 60s and early 70s, and the presence that Pete had on the field was also replicated with his presence off the field. He was a larger-than-life character, probably a bit of a larrikin would be a way to describe him. Looking at his resume, it's hard to deny how impactful a player he was. 206 games, 124 goals as a ruckman, 7-time best and fairest winner, which still is a club record. Played 13 state games, captained his state, All-Australian. I think he might have even been the leading goal kicker for South Adelaide 1 year as well. He sits very comfortably in the company that he's in. People will look back at Peter Darley, not just for the great character that he was, but also he did make a big change to the way footy was played. His work as a ruckman was so much better than anyone else at that time. His marking, his movement around the ground. There's no doubt that the way he played was the start of a change in the way that footy was played. When I heard that Peter was inducted, I felt so happy, I guess because I've seen Pete give so much to football in South Australia. And apart from 64, where they had that great season, it has been a battle for the South Adelaide Footy Club. And there are so many fans that haven't had much to celebrate over the long journey of the Panthers. So they had one great champion, and that was Peter Darley, amongst others. But he was the one that everyone loved and has admired for so long and revered, and now they get a chance to celebrate him again.